Ensure that you plan your finances very well. Spend wisely. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome yet again to another set of the Afrobiz 101 show. My name, as always, Paul Luyima, aka Jerome LP, aka the Hustle Master. I'm super excited to be here again on the set. I'm super excited that you're connecting. For all those that have been following us, we thank you. We thank you for subscribing. We thank you for sharing the video. We thank you for, clicking the notification button. And for those who are new on the set, please don't fail to subscribe. Don't forget to, share the video and as well hit the like button so that we continue coming up with these videos to see that we better ourselves as Afropreneurs, as business people, as founders, and as creatives people. Now, we are super excited. The only road that we have is success. So we need to build ourselves to success. We need to be able to build solutions for Africa. And the only way to do that is to share this information to, the best practice and be able to empower ourselves as Africans on the African continent. And we do great things together. So today on the set, having gone through a number of different topics, today I want to put a spotlight on talking about security for small businesses. Now, I want to start this segment by sharing a story. It's interesting. Today, as I was driving before I came to the set, it was around 1 o'clock, I see a child about, say, 11, 12 years of age, sitting on a medium. A medium is that, the pavement that separates the roads. Sitting on the medium in the middle of the road, holding his head, and I'm wondering what's happening to this child. So I drive closer, and as I drive closer, I see the child seated in front of the child. There's a bucket. So I continue driving closer. I see this kid had, a bucket of eggs, these boiled eggs. So normally kids I think go vending eggs to make money and get ends meet either for the family or for themselves as a hustle. Now, as I reach closer, I see about 70%, I think, of his stock of the eggs were all shattered on the tarmac, in the road. And a few eggs were still remaining in the bucket because the bucket was a bit transparent. So I see this kid, as I reach closer, I slow down. The kid looks up because he's seeing the car, slowing down. I look in the eyes of the kid, and the kid has teary eyes. It was so touching. So I pulled down my mirror and I asked this kid, what happened in the local language? The kid says, "Bise," meaning I don't know the full story, but I think whatever happened, all these eggs got down and were shattered in the road. Either the car almost knocked him and they threw the bucket away. So sad, the kid is there now. Whatever was going on in the kid's mind, I could tell it was a lot. Either he's wondering what he's going to tell the parents. Maybe this is a stock which feeds them, puts food on the table, or even pays school fees. I don't know if it was even his house, or maybe he's seeing his capital gone. This is a 12-year-old, 11-year-old kid. So it was so touching. I paused, I got something, and I gave the child. I won't say how much or what I gave. And I told him, go home. So it was a very touching experience for me today. Why am I telling this story? What it means is that apart from just the daily life, even in businesses, we cannot tell what is going to happen tomorrow. You cannot tell what God has planned for the day. That kid woke up from home to sell those eggs. Guess what? 70% in the tarmac, shattered, loss, right? It's quite a touching story. So that's the reason why I wanted to talk about today. How do we put security around our small businesses, our small hustles? Because at times you start a business, but you never think about the eventualities that may cause problems to you, that may cause distress to you, that may cause for you to shut down. Hence this segment to talk about security for small businesses. But before we dive into security, what causes security? Let's talk about risks, because even for this kid, that was a risk that if he had ever thought about it, maybe, I don't know, he would have protected it around it, but maybe not. So let's talk about risks and how to gag them. So in a simple nutshell, a risk is anything that envisaged or happened that may potentially cause damage to your business, right? And this damage might either lead you to shut down or may cause you even more grave problems. So hence the reason why we need to be mindful of the risks that are seated in any business, even though it is like that kid who was, selling eggs, to you have a boutique, you have a vending business, you have a transport business. There is a risk seated glaring at you in your business. Here, I want us to dive deeper now on the different types of risks that are potentially sitting in each and every small hustle that we have, or big or medium business that we have. And equally, look at how do we gag around that? How do we protect? How do we prevent, these risks from happening to our business, so that we have, better sleep at night than, sleeping but when one eye is open. The first risk, which is very potential to happen, and that which I wanted to start with, is the financial risk. The time your business reaches a moment that you cannot be able to take care of your immediate obligation, you are in a financial crisis. Hence, you did not mitigate the financial risk that was seated in your business. For some people who are a bit smarter maybe than me, they'll call it a liquidity risk. Okay? A liquidity risk means that what stock you have or assets cannot turn into cash to settle your obligations. And when I mean obligations, I mean even utilities, I mean salaries, I mean transport, I mean stocking inventory. So those, if you cannot do that, that means you are in distress as a business owner, and that business is nearing a tipping point. So you need to make sure that you don't reach that stage. That is the first risk. And the problem is, when you reach that point when you can't take care of your new obligations, if you have loan obligations or debt in your business, that means you can't meet your debt obligations. And if you can't meet your debt obligation, it means that all the people that demand money from you are about to foreclose on your property, are about to foreclose on your business, are about to, take your assets so that they recover their money. So, it becomes a crisis mode immediately that you do not want to be in such a space. So, financial risk, very, 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 key risk in our businesses. I would want every business founder, entrepreneur, anyone, even you want to start your business, you need to think about this risk and how you mitigate the risk. So how do we mitigate? How do we create security around this? The first thing that you need to do is better planning. So ensure that you plan your finances very well. Spend wisely. There are costs that we normally make as business owners, and you realize maybe you would have, pended it for some time. You would have eliminated it for that period because you're on a tight budget. So you don't need to spend on some of the things. Maybe you need to first focus on growing your business than, changing the brand or the signage, or buying new t-shirts, or buying, changing your offices or something like that. So you need to be able to spend wisely. That's a starting point. The second one, which is equally very important when it comes to, protecting or creating security on financial risk, is ensuring that when you are profitable and you're making some money, put some money aside for that rainy day. Ensure that you do, put some money aside. Some people call it retained earnings. You put those earnings somewhere to ensure that if those moments come, you can, instead of going to get money elsewhere, you have some buffer that you have put in your business to cater for those moments. So it is very important. The third thing which is important is when the business is doing well, as a business owner, as a founder, please, if you can, do not take on every debt. When your business is doing well, you find that many financial institutions, all the other lenders are looking to give you money because they want to meet a target. All those relationship managers normally are meeting a target. So they will squeeze you, throw offers at you, throw rates at you, exciting stuff. Some of you take the loans, but did you need that loan really? Because you find that maybe you're taking a loan to set up another building or plant, but you haven't even, maximized the opportunity in this plant. So why are you taking money? Because the banks now, or financial lenders, or any other, financial player is interested in giving you money because you're performing well, you decide to take the money. That's a bait that you shouldn't do. Please always calculate your moves on a financial, scale, and ensure that you take in debt if you must, but it should be able to be in line with your business growth plans so that you are able to get value from it. So minimize debt that is unnecessary. Ensure that you spend wisely, very important. Ensure that you put some money aside as a buffer in those good times so that you can manage as and when. The next is a very interesting one, which is cyber risk. Now, anyone and everyone using the internet, you are potentially a victim of cyber risk. Many of us have small businesses. You have 3, 4, 2, even yourself, you might be a company of 1. And you use a computer, you use internet, you upload your databases on the system. Anything, if you don't, protect yourself or have enough security around, cyber crime, you'll be hacked. So you need to be able to protect yourself around cyber crime, cyber risk, and hacking. The only way you can protect yourself around cyber risk is, first of all, ensuring that you manage your passwords very, very carefully. So your tech team or the people that you use must be able to always update the firewalls on your systems and ensure that, they keep on running the, updates on this, because when they find loopholes, the hackers will definitely come in. The third, which is very important, is you always have to either back up your data, either on the cloud or in an offsite data center where you can at least fall back to in case you have such a problem. So that is what you call business continuity. So it's important that you pay attention, a lot of attention to cyber risk, because it is real and it's happening. And the third risk that we need to look out for is the legal risk. Legal risk is a very other big, risk element in our businesses that we need to look out for. Either you call it legal or compliance risk. Anything and everything requiring legalities of your business and the existence of your business is important to look out for before you operate, and you say maybe you're running a very good business. You can be profitable, and in 1 minute, because you missed out something, you end up getting on the wrong side of the law. Let me give an example of some of the things that you need to really look out for clearly regarding legal risk. The first, which is important, is around registration of your business. You should ensure that all the legalities of your businesses are in check. Why? You might today be operating as Paul and Sons as an example. That's your name, but you didn't register. And someone goes and registers that name and owns it. Now, one day, maybe your business goes big and is thriving and everything. This guy comes and sues you that you're actually using their name to trade, and they fine you for a lot of money. So you need to ensure that the legal risk aspect is actually met. Ensure all the steps are taken to make sure that you own that name. That is your trading name, that is your registered name, and you're good to go. The second, which is equally important, you might find maybe there are infringement rights. Let me give an example. So you might find maybe you're into music and you're using people's songs and you're not paying them. Copyright law, you're on the wrong side of the law. Then other things that are very, very important as well to look at, totally in line with the legal aspect, is the taxation aspect. Now, tax, if you don't pay tax, or if you don't know all the taxes that you're supposed to pay, you will definitely be at one point affected by the law if the taxman comes for you. So you need to ensure that with your accountant, you know all the taxes that you need to pay, you are compliant, and if, let's say, you have made losses, you have declared. If you're supposed to do annual returns, you have done them, because today you are running very well, business is running very well, you missed out some taxes, they come for you, my friend. So you need to ensure that, around taxation, you're very clear about it and you are able to comply your business, so that then you run, a more prudent business. The next one is human capital or talent risk. Now, normally we overlook this, You have your staff, you have maybe 3-5 staff. Yes, I have my people. You might find some of those are critical skilled resources. And one day comes and the one tells you, you know what, I've gone to competition, and you're exposed. So that's why it's important to look at the risk around, human capital and talent. What do you need to do around this? Because human capital, definitely, most of your businesses run around people. So you need to ensure that the people element is clearly, articulated for your business continuity. First and foremost, you need to be able to identify in your business some of the, skilled or what you call hypos in your businesses that you can map up for growth. So you might find you have senior people in your business, but there are these young talent who are really very good, and you see that they can be able to be groomed into senior people. So what you do, you put them on a journey and start training them, preparing them, because if in case of anything that happens, those are some of the people that you can easily put into that business. The business stays running, stays going. That is important to think about. The second one is train your teams. Because when you train in teams, that means it's not like one person who knows it all, but maybe you have trained a number of people. So there's continuity around that particular space to ensure that your business doesn't collapse because someone has just gone away. Okay? Then ensure that always you listen to your staff. At times, some of the answers are within the people. So you open up the door and ensure that you have that open communication with your teams. And where you can, be able to adopt some of those things because they feel involved, they feel they're part of the system, they will own your vision and be able to stay and have a longevity in your company, which helps you to mitigate that risk of human capital and talent loss. The second thing, which is very important as well, if you can, whichever business that you run, be able to create clear paths of your people in your system, how they can grow with you in the business. If someone was an office messenger, can they become maybe an administrator now? If they have a skill, can they become a driver? If they have a skill, can they, grow into that business? It is very important because then someone sees a future in your business entity and they can be able to walk that future with you as your business is equally growing. If that doesn't happen, what will happen is that the person reaches a time and they become negative and they become, because they're disgruntled, they're not growing, they don't see any future, they're not challenged. The next thing is being counterproductive. Either now they're starting to be the ones who are always with a negative vibe. They're the ones who are maybe taking stuff from the business because they're not seeing any future and they're starting to get frustrated. So you need to create a simple mapping of how you grow your people in the system so that you stay with them, right? Very, very, very important. Closely tied to that, whatever you can. I know our businesses, our hustles, it's very tight on the money, very tight on the budget. If you can, pay them fairly. Pay the people fairly, because as you pay them fairly, they will be able to appreciate and they will stay with you, right? There are people who squeeze every dollar because then the person just is there for just the money. When they get the next best thing, they'll walk out. When they get the next best thing, they'll just walk away. So what you need to do is try as much as possible. And I'm not saying pay them, expensively. Try as much as possible to pay some of your staff fairly so that they can be able to also, feel valued and as well look after their needs. Because if they don't look after their needs, those are the ones you're going to grab, trying to steal either fuel, trying to steal an asset, telling you this machine failed, is faulty when actually they sold it. So it becomes counterproductive in your system. So try to pay them fairly, because it is important to look after your staff, because they are the ones who do the job. They're the ones who bring in the money. They're the ones who handle the customer. So it is important to pay them fairly. So in a nutshell, that is where you can put a little bit of security or enough security around human capital or human resource or talent risk. So that's a security. Risk number 5. Risk number 5 that I would want to talk about around this time is reputational risk. Now, reputational risk is anything and everything in a public domain that can properly dent or damage the name of your business or your name as the founder. And because you're the founder of the business, some people attach you to the business. And when they attach you to the business and your image is tainted, it might taint in the same run your business. So that's why you need to look at the reputational risk. What causes reputational risk? Reputational risk, you might find that at times is caused by anything that has been done by in line with your company that is not right for the community, for the people, and maybe it's illicit or there's a fraud. Anything that is bad, that can happen. What is important for you to do to manage this particular risk, because it's a big one which can properly take you out of business. What you need to do is, first of all, ensure that you have rules and regulations in your system to ensure that the teams understand what to do. Secondly, ensure that these rules and the regulations are cascaded across, and you have trained each and every one. They know what they must do at what time. And if they don't know, there's a proper, matrix of how they can be helped to know how to go about things. Because, at times people do things because they don't know and they think that's the best way to do it. And you find that, it has caused a problem. So set the rules in place for how you operate. Ensure that they are cascaded down to everyone, they are shared properly to everyone, and not only shared, but the people are trained on those rules and regulations so that they know from A to Z that these are the rules, because if they don't, then there's a problem. The last, which is important on this piece, is after you've trained, you must hold accountable those who do different from what the rules and regulations do. Because when you do that, and you do it to the latter, what happens is that everyone in the system gets to understand that the system works and the system holds everyone accountable. That will help you to minimize anything that can potentially, damage the reputation of your business and you, the founder. So you need to ensure that the reputational risk aspect is dealt. Let's move to now risk number 6. Risk number 6 is very simple. It is operational risk. Okay, operational risk comes about in areas whereby you find maybe there are gaps in your system or loopholes in your system that may potentially affect the business in one way or another, or the customer. How do they affect the customer? Maybe the buying process is not very clear and communicated out. So you find maybe someone, let's give an example, you're giving out money. One person applies for the loan, it gets it in 1 day. Another person applies for the loan, gets it in 30 days. Another one doesn't even get feedback that they were declined. That is operational inefficiency, which is a risk to your business, because then the customers don't know, right? Then the other is that if you haven't defined so many things, maybe your things are manual, it can cause internal fraud. And we have seen this in different organizations whereby people know that this one can't be tracked, and you find maybe they're sniffling, either some people will take even fuel from generators, some people are taking petty cash out because the process is flawed. The 7th one, which is important as well, is the physical risk, is any risk that can potentially affect your physical premises of the business. Let me give an example. Theft, break-in, someone has come and broken the door and then taken the stuff. Now, how do we put security around this? The first, definitely, which is the easiest, is you can put a security guard around your premises to guard either day or day and night, depending on which risk elements you're dealing with. You need to put a physical security guard, and some of these we have seen, some have guns, some have batons, some are 2, some are 1, depending. The second one is you need to put a surveillance system in place. So you need to have cameras in place. We have seen some other people, like in warehouses, where you even have sensors. The other element, which is equally important, is, and this one addresses the things that at times are out of our control, like the nature of God. So like it's a flood. You have your stock, you come back when you have to use a boat to even reach your premises. Sad but true, right? So that's when you have to invoke insurance. Okay? If you have any sort of insurance that you can be able to put to your business, which is within your financial affordability framework, please do it. Look at what the insurance companies can give you so that you protect. Definitely there's those where you say, no, I want to put some money here, because it has to make economic sense. There's a trade-off. but look for the ones that are critical in your space so that you put an insurance cover, because at the end of the day, that's your lifeline, unless you have another source. But if that's your lifeline, you do not want to be in a space whereby you find yourself, lost with everything gone and you're in distress, depressed, and you don't know what to do. So those are the key 7 risks that we have in our businesses that I can think of and I've researched, and definitely these are based on my still research. Before I sign out, I just wanted to pose a question. Is there any other risk that you see that I haven't mentioned around the 7? Please share it in the comment section so that others can be able to learn from them. But most importantly, don't stop at the risk. Which solutions do you think we can do to be able to protect our businesses much better? So I'll wait to hear that, and as usual, as we do for the top 2 people who share first, we'll definitely reach out to you and give you a business book of any choice that we will agree on, and we'll look for you in one way or another and give it to you. So before I sign out, I say, please subscribe, please share this video, please press the like button so that we continue doing this episodes for you. We thank you for having been on the journey with us on this one, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one. So as I sign out, as usual, I say stay hustling, stay grinding, and see you on the next. Keep it Afrobiz. Thank you.